listening to us on 640 AM. This is your Shark Sports Wrap. I'm Tony Segreto. We are very hopeful that you had a wonderful Thanksgiving, and at this point you're thoroughly full of turkey and probably sick of seeing it at this point, because how many sandwiches can you have after that first meal? But we're so happy that you're joining us. What is it about Thanksgiving that it takes all day to prepare the meal, the candied yams, the turkey, the stuffing, and then it takes about 15 minutes to eat it, and you're cleaning the table, and then about 2 hours later you're thinking, leftovers. So the debate is, do you eat early in the day so you can have many meals throughout the day, or do you eat late in the day so you can pick prior to that? I don't know, that's just, that's what happens when you have too much turkey and you're talking on a Saturday morning at 8:30. But we're happy that you're with us here. This is our third week of Shark Sports Wrap, and we hope that you're making us your Saturday morning staple with your cup of coffee and everything you could possibly want to know about Nova Southeastern University Shark Sports. And joining us today, once again, a dear friend of mine, one of my best friends, the athletic director, Mike Mominey. We have some time to talk with him today. Happy Thanksgiving.
Happy Thanksgiving.
I know you had a lot of family in town.
We did. We host Thanksgiving, so it's one of my favorite holidays. We have a lot of family come in town from up north, and yeah. Does that mean I look tired or full?
Both.
Oh, okay. Okay.
That's a good thing, though. It's like, at what point have you picked the turkey over? Is it by Friday, Saturday?
Yeah, usually Friday is the
last day.
The last day. But it's interesting as you open the show. It takes so much time to prepare this, and I watch my wife and my sister-in-law prepare all the meal.
And your wife can cook.
She can cook. She can cook, and so family down from Ohio, and but it's great to have everyone in town and enjoying the weather and enjoying each other. And it's one of my favorite holidays. So meaningful to our family.
Yeah, very meaningful. And we're going to get into that in a minute. But I will tell you this: that Thanksgiving in our house means that my daughter comes up to me and she says, "So Friday morning we start putting up the Christmas decorations?"
That's correct. Same
with your house?
It is. It is. We don't. As I know, your family isn't here for the actual Christmas Day typically, but it's time to do Christmas right after Thanksgiving. And it's when you're walking around Home Depot and Lowe's out there, they're already putting up those Christmas decorations. But we got to hold off our kids till after Thanksgiving to get the Christmas decorations up.
But one of the things I think that we all have to be thankful for here at Nova Southeastern is the fact that you're the athletic director, that you've run an incredible ship here, and you tell us what you're thankful for about being here and about this university.
Well, I appreciate those words, and hopefully a lot of people feel thankful for that as well. But I feel thankful for the opportunity, really, Tony. It's been a great run here. Came here in 2000 as the baseball coach and transitioned into administration in 2002, and from then until now, and even really before I was at Nova Southeastern when I moved to South Florida, I always felt that Nova Southeastern was this diamond in the rough, and there was a lot of opportunity here. So I'm thankful for the opportunity that's been given me, both from our former president, Ray Ferrero, and now certainly into the transition of President George Hanberry, and what he's afforded us and afforded me as a leader of this program. And again, that's not a selfish opportunity as much as an opportunity to grow this program and work with great people throughout our university and great coaches, but they allow us an opportunity to build a very successful athletic program. And so I'm thankful for that, and I'm thankful for the support that my family's given me to be allowed to do this, and of course I'm thankful for you to be my friend and chair our advisory board and do some great things, not only what we're doing now, but what a bright future we have here to build the program.
We have a lot of great things happening here at Nova Southeastern, and I think one of the things that we need to touch on is how many lives we touch and how many lives you touch and impact, because we're talking about success stories way beyond Nova Southeastern University that have come through here that have been part of NSU athletics.
Well, and that's really the fun part of the job, and that we have an opportunity to positively affect young men and women between the ages of 18 and 22 or whatever they are at the college level, and again, that is not so much about, as we'll get into and we have before, about kids going on to play professional athletics, but these kids are living life daily just like you and I are, and we have a chance, whether you're the athletic director or a coach, a sports information assistant, or the academic advisor, we have an opportunity with all 50 plus of us in the athletic department to positively affect these young men and women. So I think we've done that in a lot of cases, and some of which we may not even know. And that's sort of the beauty of the job, being an educator, being a coach, and to be able to, as they go through you know, their growth period as in their late teens and their early 20s. You know, they're very influential, and there's kids from all over the world, as we talked about earlier. And to put them in situations to help them be successful as they move on past here. But we've had a lot of great success stories. The coaches do an unbelievable job of identifying the right kids to come to the university to focus in on academics and athletics. So that's where it starts. And as they matriculate through, we all, you know, play our role as they go through to hopefully, you know, again, positively influence them as they move on.
You've had a lot of visions here come to fruition, and one of which was a Hall of Fame. Mm-hmm. And it's something you really wanted to create. You wanted to create this tradition here so that student athletes that have graduated had something to come back to, and people to look to who have really made a difference in the different athletic programs that we have here at NSU. So for the last 5 years, your vision has come true in terms of what we've been able to accomplish and the beautiful display you have at the Don Taft University Center lobby. Tell us about that dream and how you feel it's gone, and certainly this last class may have been one of the most impressive classes we've had. Not disrespect to any other class, but the classes just seem to get better and better.
Right. Well, the Hall of Fame is something you know, that was part of my vision as we move forward in the early 2000s, 2002, 2003, and it's really, and with all respect to who's come before, you know, in the earlier era, you know, that we needed to build more traditions, and I thought the Athletic Hall of Fame would be one of those. As you look around to the different universities, and again, we try not to reinvent the wheel around here. You know, we looked at other programs and took parts and pieces from different programs around the country, and people that I've been familiar with, and did a lot of talking to, you know, you who has been part of the Hall of Fame committee since its inception, and what they may do down at X school, down in Coral Gables, or up in Gainesville, or back in Ohio. And so the Hall of Fame itself, I think it has reached hopefully its tipping point to where it's really come to full fruition. And it is tradition based. It's about bringing the old and connecting them with the new. It's connecting the Knights with the Sharks, and I said that in my speech on the last Hall of Fame induction. But for me, it has become a tradition in the sense that a lot of alumni have come back and participated. Of course, it's about recognizing the people that have come and have influenced the athletics department over the years, you know, and that included Dr. Abe Fischler, you know, and he was in our first class. That included, you know, Coach Sonny Hansley, who was the first athletic director, basketball coach, and baseball coach, who got this thing started in the early 80s. And then that fast forwards all the way up to, you know, this past year with Chancellor Ray Ferrero and Matt Perry, you know, on our staff. And it's great. It's a great event. You know, again, it speaks to what we do here, and it speaks to, you know, hopefully, as you mentioned earlier, how we influence, or how this university has influenced people to hear their successes. So it's been great. Obviously, we have.
Plus, I think what we give them, it really makes it a special night. I mean, not only are they recognized, but you know, in many cases, you get a plaque, or you get a little trophy, and you're done with it, and it goes in your home. But the night for the Hall of Famer includes a Hall of Fame ring, which is specially designed, a Hall of Fame jacket, a Hall of Fame plaque that they keep, a Hall of Fame plaque that goes here at NSU, and another Hall of Fame plaque that goes into the lobby that stays there for a year. I think it really is special. Not only is it just one night, but that one night lasts the entire year for these Hall of Famers.
Without a doubt, it is very impactful, and if you haven't attended before, for those that have attended, you really have to see it and be in attendance to get the full flavor of it. But it's been one of the great things that we started here at the university.
We have another segment with you, and we're going to get into the Q school and golf and what it's meant to this university, because I want to spend a lot of time on that. But I do want to touch on one thing about the early signing period. Tell us how that's going.
Well, you know, of course, the NCAA, we had our early signing period, and that's a national signing period here back in November. But we had, I mean, of course, we have to see how they do once they get here, but we did sign 11 student athletes for the class of 2012, some quality student athletes. You know, and that is, from my recollection, that is the most that we actually signed to a national letter of intent in the early signing period in November. So, you know, baseball signed 3 in the early signing period, and you're going to love this one. from Coral Springs High School, Alan Sharkey. And that's the truth.
Come
Alan
on.
Sharkey, first baseman out of Coral Springs High School. And I asked Coach Brown, I said, is that, did we sign him because of his last name? I mean, is this like a marketing thing? But interestingly enough, Alan is one of the top hitters, not only in the Broward County, but one of the top hitters in the state of Florida. Again, he plays for Coral Springs High School. He's a first baseman, left-handed hitter, big guy, and I know he's on the radar for the draft even for this year. So we also signed Brandon Valentine out of Ferguson High School in Miami, and then Casey Kopech out of North Broward Prep. Some good local kids, signed to the baseball team for the class of 2012. So Coach Brown and his staff really worked hard over the summer, and to commit those kids for next year. So that's exciting. On the volleyball program, local recruit from Monsignor Pace High School, a young lady named Sydney Cook. She's an outside hitter. Coach Wilkowski from the volleyball team. She is not only athletically skilled but academically skilled. Her academic interest is communications. She played this past summer in the USA Volleyball High Performance Championship. So she's obviously anyone that we're signing early is a really highly considered player. So women's basketball, as we had Coach Freeland on last week, we signed a young lady from right across the street, Nova High School, Kajadra Young. I hope I'm saying her name right. She's a 5'7" guard who's sort of can do it all right across the street at Nova High School. And then lastly, as far as the local student athletes, the women's rowing team, our new coach, Coach Mary Freeland, signed somewhat local, but a young lady named Rachel Rufo out of Sebastian River High School, and she brings in a lot of work ethic and drive, according to Coach Lennington, and so she's going to be a big part of the class of 2012 as well.
How many people realize we have a great crew team here? In fact, one of the Hall of Famers this past year, Jennifer Remby, was a rower.
Yes. Yeah, the crew team, we started up, I guess this is our 9th season, and we've made it to nationals all but 1 year with our crew team, and consistently ranked in the top 10 in the country. And it doesn't get all the flair of a basketball or a baseball or soccer, but we brought in a new coach, Mary Lennington, who we hired. Our original coach, John Gartman, who started the program, did an outstanding job in building this program to get it to its point. He has moved on and actually went on to the University of Oklahoma as their top assistant. But hired Mary Lennington this past year. We've had a great fall with the women's crew. A lot of people ask, where do we do that? Obviously, it's not out in Gold Circle Lake here behind the library. But we have an arrangement with Hollywood, the rowing club down in Hollywood. It's at a park called Holland Park down in Hollywood. So the kids go there early in the morning, about 4:30, and are on the water usually by 5:15, 5:30. But I'm sure we'll get a chance to talk about crew a little more and have Coach on, as that is a spring sport. But we had a great fall. We participated in Dad Vales, which is a great, traditional race in women's rowing, or in all of rowing. So we look forward to having a great season there as well.
All right, we're going to have you. I mean, for people who may not know, 3-time national champion, three-peat, for the first time ever in the history of the NCAA, an athlete being named Player of the Year 4 straight years, and now that athlete is going to the Q School, and it's a great story to tell, and certainly a great tradition, and a team. I don't care in what division you're talking about, this golf team was the best in the country.
Well, they've certainly had an unbelievable run. The women's golf team, as you mentioned, to be a 3-time defending national champion, a three-peat. I mean, there's not a lot of places you can look and find that in any sport, at any division, at any level. I don't care if you're talking youth, high school, and certainly at the collegiate level or beyond. That is a difficult challenge. Obviously, a lot of things got to go right. You got to have the right players and all that. But our women's golf team and our coach Kevin Marsh at the time did a great job coaching both the men's and women's team. But the women's golf team, 3-time national champions. You mentioned a couple of our top players, one of which is Sandra Chenkija. She was 4-time National Player of the Year. That has not happened in any other sport in any NCAA in the history of the NCAA.
Featured in Sports Illustrated as well.
Featured in Sports Illustrated. Again, 4-time National Player of the Year in women's golf Division II. She finished in the top 10 each and every year in stroke average, which is kept by GolfStat, and that includes Division I, II, and III. Sandra's a young lady out of Orlando. She played out of Grand Cypress, some of which listeners might know. Grand Cypress is just recently where they wrapped up the LPGA. Last summer, I had the opportunity to go and watch her up in PA. She actually qualified for the U.S. Open, the women's U.S. Open as an amateur, so that was pretty exciting. But it's not about one player. We've had several All-Americans on the team. The other young lady that made a great run into her junior and senior year is a local girl, a girl out of St. Thomas Aquinas High School named Taylor Collins. She plays out of Grand Oaks, right across the street here, the old home caddy shack. But Taylor actually won the individual championship. She won the individual national championship last year up at Grand Rapids, Michigan. So she actually beat out her own teammate for the individual title. So we came home with a lot of hardware. Again, I had the great fortune to be with the team the last 3 years. We were in Ohio the first year, then we were out in Phoenix, Arizona. Last year we were up in Grand Rapids. Grand Valley State hosted the national championship, and we came out with the individual title as well as the team title.
The Q School, we have the two girls in the Q School. Explain what that is to people who may not know what it is and how it can obviously reflect on Nova Southeastern University.
I'll do my best to explain it. I'd start by saying that you and I will not be going to Q School anytime soon.
No.
That is the
we may be going to school, but not that school.
Yeah, yes, and this is the LPGA final. The Q School is qualifying school, so there's 3 stages on the ladies' side. And that is just a tournament, a progressive tournament, if you will, 4 rounds of 18 holes, long and grueling, and there's 3 stages.
To qualify to become a pro.
To qualify to get your tour card.
Right.
So they do that on obviously the PGA side, but in the LPGA side. But interesting enough, LPGA there's 3 stages. PGA there's only 2. So it's even one more step. But our young ladies, Sandra and Taylor, who I mentioned, will be playing in the final stage of qualifying school, November 30th through December 4th, right here in Daytona Beach at the LPGA courses. But what that means, Tony, is of anywhere around the world, anyone around the world who wanted to get their tour card, they had to qualify to get to this point. So they're in the final 142 in the whole world in order to get their tour card. And I still stay in touch with both Sandra and Taylor. I was very involved with the golf team as they moved, as they moved towards the championships, and spent some time with them. And they're both very excited for the opportunity, not only for themselves, but as representatives of Nova Southeastern University, which is pretty neat.
Well, it's a feather in the cap of this university, and not only academically, because I think we should stress that both of these young women have either graduated or like within a subject or 2 have graduated.
Right. They both have graduated, and interestingly enough, Taylor Collins was part of our 4.0 club last spring. She was a sport management major, as well as Sandra through our School of Business. So they both at this point have finished their undergraduate degree and are now out on trying to make it on the tour. They do play on the Futures Tour. They both played on the Futures Tour, which is sort of the minor leagues of LPGA, and hopefully. But
they become great ambassadors for this university. I think that's what's so critical. We're talking about athletes who have left the university, who are succeeding in their craft, well beyond the university level, who become great ambassadors. Not that every student athlete is an ambassador, but when you carry that flag in your sport, it becomes something that now you build on that tradition. Recruiting becomes easier, the bigger names. Now think of Nova Southeastern University. And one of the things I wanted to touch on is, the universities have their group of alumni and their former students and players and everybody coming back to watch games and taking part. But universities also have the community supporting it. People who never went there and went to other universities or whatever. How important is it for you and the athletic department and Nova as a whole to reach out to the neighborhood, to the community, to say, listen, we're your neighborhood university. You may have gone to Miami or Florida State, but that doesn't mean you can't embrace Nova Southeastern University and be a part of our campus and be a part of our athletic department and by coming out to the games.
Right. Well, it's very important. It's very important, and as you mentioned, the neighborhood university, I like to say we're the hometown university. Obviously, there's a lot of competition. We're in South Florida with a university when you look to the left and you look to the right, but we are the only 4-year university in Broward County, and we try to sell that, and we have partners that are interested because they're also hometown businesses. So You know, we have our advisory board, as you know, and those are basically community partners. You know, those are so very important. You know, some of our sponsors on this show, I mean, Phil Smith Chevrolet, I mean, he has no, you know, he doesn't have a degree from Nova Southeastern University, but for him to get involved in
Dayton, right?
Dayton, University of Dayton. Yes, he's a Chaminade High School High School graduate and a Dayton Flyer. But you know, to have people, you know, like Phil, like yourself, Tony, and to be involved with the university, you know, I think that's again where we've reached a different level, because there's obviously something here that people buy into, and whether it's from the student athlete perspective or just the School of Business or our medical school, with so many great things going on here at the university, it's great to see other people, again, that have no affiliation as an alum per se, have a great interest. And you know, I would turn it on you and ask you, you know, maybe you could shed some light on your interest and how you came to the university. Not only, you know, you're more than just the host of the Shark Sports Wrap, we all know that, but you're certainly a guy that's established himself in South Florida, a University of Miami graduate, and now chair my advisory board for the athletics department, and also serve on the board of trustees. So I would sort of ask you that question. It's
been a wonderful experience, and it all started with another former Cane, and that's Joe Pineda, who is the vice chair, head of the business school at Nova Southeastern University. And he embraced me, and he and I have been friends for 30, 40 years. And he said, you know, we have something special going on here. I'd like you to come and check it out. I came and checked it out, and he said, we'd like to put you on the advisory board of the business school, the Wayne Huizenga Business School. I said, I'd love to be a part of it. And that's how the ball started rolling. And you and I met, and we have the same values, both athletically, spiritually, and with family. And I think that means a lot to me. I've been watching, you know, I'm looking at this university, and it reminds me of what the University of Miami was like back in the 50s and 60s. You know, a lot of people, they just see the university now where it is, and they don't remember when they were struggling, and it was hard to recruit athletes, and it was just a little university, Suntan U, and you know, one of the coaches would have to recruit athletes by putting coconuts in the back of his truck and going up to Ohio and Pennsylvania and showing, you know, prospective athletes, look, I have coconuts. You can come down and pick coconuts all day. Right. I saw NSU like that years ago when I first joined here, very similar to that. And now I'm watching it grow, and I'm seeing one of the finest facilities, if not the finest facilities in the area, in the Don Taft University Center. I was telling someone this morning on the phone before I came here, an early morning call, he's got a friend whose daughter's coming down here to visit because she's a swimmer. I said, let us know when she's here so we can give her a tour, a real special tour, because the swimming facility here is second to none. The pool is unbelievable. I mean, great baseball facilities, our softball program, our golfers. Where do you think our golfers are so good? Because they get to train and practice at Grand Oaks, one of the finest facilities in all of South Florida. So what I like about this university is watching it grow. But most importantly, I have a big thing about an athlete being a student athlete. I tell my children all the time, one of my children, as you know, is an athlete, and I stress to her all the time, it's all about academics, it's not about athletics, because truly, you know, there's an infinitesimal amount of people that make it, you know, to the professional world of sports. You know, there's the Marinos are a once in a lifetime. The Alex Rodriguez's are a once in a lifetime. You know, guys like that just don't come around, you know, every day. So having that education, and that's what Nova Southeastern does. I think it stresses education, it stresses competitive balance, and to me that means a lot. So it's been a great relationship here, and I speak very highly of what you've done here, what the university does on a whole. And I think it's just it's a great thing, and it's a great story to tell.
Well, and certainly, and I don't want to understate this, but I mean your influence on not only me, but our athletic department, our coaches who you're starting to get to know, and our student athletes. I mean, it's great to have you here and have you part of what we're trying to do here, because I do think we have a great story to tell. And anybody I bring new on campus, and you know, we're sort of in that mode, and you know, I'd like to bring them on campus because I really do think we're to a point where, you know, the university sells itself. And I don't have too many University of Miami stories like you said back in the day, and I didn't have the great fortune of being down here involved with them at that point. But we do have some stories over the last 15 years from where we were to where we came today, and you know, some of which you'll have as guests on here, and maybe you can even talk to some of the student athletes that have seen facilities grow and coaching staffs grow and academic support and weight rooms and strength staff and all those
Well, you
things.
got great stories. There's not a Hall of Famer that I haven't met that said, "My goodness me, I wish we had facilities like this when I played, because we had to go here to play on a baseball field that was more of a rock pile than it was a baseball field." So, great stories, great facilities. We have many more to tell as we continue here on 640 AM. Mike, as always, a pleasure to meet you. I'm glad you have you on here. I'm glad you had a great Thanksgiving with your family, and now I know you're going to go home and put up your Christmas decorations.
That's right.
Work off the turkey.
Have to work off the turkey.
We'll
Appreciate having me, Tony.
We'll see you next week, and we'll be right back on Shark Sports Wrap right after.